Hello and good morning. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. And thank you for always taking that step with us today. We have a fully packed show today with a variety of things that will definitely tickle your fancy.
Yeah, we're like nothing more than to put a big smile on your faces. My name is Yomi Ope.
And I'm Titilayo Oyinson. Now we're streaming live at tvcentertainment.tv and of course at facebook.com/TVC Connect.
Yeah, send in your comments across our social media platforms, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Use the hashtag WakeUpNigeria on TVC.
So we need you to download our mobile app as soon as you can from any Android or iOS store. Watch us on your mobile devices as well from anywhere in the world. Our first musical act on the show for today, which comes from singer Stephen C.
You don't need to fear hard to be scared.
And then we'll have another musical performance, one you're really gonna enjoy. Afro-pop sensation Cartesian is gonna be here.
Well, the science of happiness, is that really a thing? Joining us this morning to talk about the relationships. You know, Dima Nwobi, fondly called the Queen of Happiness. She's going to be passing some happiness around for us today, hopefully.
Yes,
Looking
indeed.
forward to it.
And then we have our makeover segment. We have the CEO of Sixth Sense Interiors, Tope Olagwegi, to be here. She'll be here talking about designing on a budget, you know? Everybody wants their house to look all fly, but do they have the finance to do it?
Very good question. I think we also have one of the guests that's going to be joining us. Singer, songwriter, actress, model, Kemuti, winner of Project Fame West Africa Season 9. She's been here before.
Yeah.
And she's going to be joining us on the show again today.
You know, a lot of times, some other person has spoken about it, designing the home on a budget, and I think the issue here, the keyword here is budget, not necessarily on a cheap.
No.
On a cheap and on a budget.
So you actually have to have some money.
Yeah, so it's within some confinement. Say, okay, I have, say, 30,000 naira to...
How can I design my home?
Exactly. So I would want something a little bit more practical. Okay, so I have 30,000 naira. I have a self-contained, or I have a mini flat, or I have a 2-bedroom and I have 50,000 naira. What can I do with 50,000 naira? So the first thing they always tell you is paint. You know,
really?
Find a way to complement. Yeah, that's about the easiest thing.
Paint? Okay, well,
that's the first thing.
I wouldn't change the paint though.
Okay,
I would change something like the throw pillows, because throw pillows are like 225. You know, like the color.
Moving into the
if you're just moving, the first thing has to be the paint. Then some people will go for that, say, okay, wallpaper, maybe make one different from one and all of that. And then once you put the wallpaper, it starts having a different feel, maybe more depth. It could make the room bigger. Depends on the wallpaper. If you have a 3D wallpaper, it will make the room feel like it's bigger than it is.
3D wallpaper, 30K. I beg you.
No, you design it now. It's all about this printing. It's all about printing. It's perspective. You know now, if you print something perspective, it's still a print. So you could probably print something with perspective. I'm just thinking, and then pop. And then, like you said, pillows, the upholstery. You understand? The upholstery, what would you do to it? What kind of color would you do to it? And that one, really, for the upholstery.
There are these funky center rugs now that they have at some stores. Okay. That are not too expensive, like all these 8K. So you just change, change center rug. No. 8K.
Just center rug. You're not talking about the...
People said 30K. Okay, so what else can we do?
So you have 30K, you're buying a center rug for 8K.
No, center rug is too much. If you have tiles, for me, I like tiled floor. It was plain tiles so that you have,
Are you serious?
Plain tiles. Plain tiles.
So what about curtains? All those guys are yabba. They'll be like, you want curtain? How much would
curtains
that
you can get very cheap ones.
Yes,
you can get very cheap ones.
They won't last, but...
It won't, exactly. Probably won't last, but you can get very cheap ones. And very nice, make you some lace, light lace material, just double it and pop. And they make it in now, again. You understand?
So all your neighbors will be seeing into your house.
No, but you know the funny thing? The very thick ones are actually cheaper. There's a very thick, there's a very thick one, because I have light ones, I have some very thick ones. So it's all about where you're going to. Okay. Do you understand? You can always get, so I feel like
and whether
on the
your
budget,
AC is always on or your window is always open. So, there's some people that there's never light.
Okay, exactly.
Yeah, so you have to keep it.
Yeah.
Exactly. And
keep it light.
so when you are, it depends on the kind of area you are. when you know that NEPA that brings you touch too much. Even if you have AC, you know that you can't. It's not all jets that can carry AC. How many people have jets that can carry their AC?
True.
So, and then even if you put it, you're thinking, so this particular general, like, see, if you carry the fridge, but you see, the core go they do somehow. So me, I just like cannot carry it, but what's the need, self? I beg, just let the gen just do that, not do pass itself. That kind of thing.
I think we live in a country where having a generator is like a status symbol, which is it's an anomaly. Like it's not a normal thing.
It is.
So okay, you're younger, you get a small gen, and then you start earning more money, you get a bigger gen. Then you start earning more money, you get an even bigger gen.
Yeah, 6 months bad, and I'll go to
when you make
the size of your gen matches your status.
Yes, now.
It's incredible.
You know, it's silencer, the bigger gen, those big ones. Then when you get to the level,
does it have a house? Does it have a house?
You know those
generators.
That's the home. Just humming.
Is it fuel or is it diesel? Is it petrol
no.
or
After a certain
for diesel.
Yeah, after
Because
a certain level of kVAs, you have to use diesel.
You have to use a diesel because the diesels, they can carry more power than the fuel.
They carry more power, and if you're using a petrol generator, it's just been
in
burning
other countries, status symbol is your car, you know?
Is
the
it?
type of car
Is
you
it?
drive. That's what people see.
Yeah, or the resources you control.
Yeah, but in Lagos, how big is your gen?
It doesn't.
Yes, now.
How big is your gen?
There are many things. So you got to follow how you will kill yourself. When you're talking about car, I mean, when you have countries where the prime ministers, they go through metro system, transport system.
True.
Nobody cares. When you're using your car, they look at you, this guy, okay, you don't know how to save. You are trying to save every cent.
It's
Because
so
you're paying for
crazy.
everything.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You're paying for water, you are paying for light, you're paying for...
You're paying for parking.
For parking, exactly. In
Parking
UK, I mean,
fees.
people are
Crazy.
this time went to go and say, "Oh, more parking is limited, and when I can't spend that."
And I heard that they might
pounds to park."
introduce that into some areas in Lagos.
In Lagos, yeah, probably. If
So, just to generate more income internally. So some certain locations, maybe like in Alausa, if you park, it's fine, you can park. You won't see any area boys there.
Yeah.
But you have to there'll be a parking meter. So you press, a ticket comes out, then you pay before you
leave?
funny thing that it was, I went to MM1, parked there, and then I found out the flight person I brought was in MM2. Paid for MM1, just I had went out, and the guy was going, "It's not your mistake, it's 500 naira." Very, very sarcastic thing, but hey.
And on that costly note, we have to go to the news now.
Ibrahim is on standby.
Well, welcome to the news. A new board will be taking over the affairs of the Niger Delta Development Commission. The board was confirmed by the Senate and has been asked to replace the interim management team set up by the Minister of the Niger Delta. That team was to oversee a forensic audit of the agency, but Senate President Ahmed Lawan says the law setting up the NDDC does not recognize any interim arrangements once the board is in place. So Jesu Adeoye reports now from Abuja.
It is the first day of resumption at the Nigerian Senate after a one-week adjournment of legislative sitting. A lot is on the agenda for the day, one of which is the consideration and confirmation of some presidential appointees. The upper legislative chamber confirmed the nomination of Pius Odubu as the chairman of the Niger Delta Development Commission, alongside 14 other board members.
Will the Senate confirm the nomination of Dr. Pius Odubu as chairman of the governing board of the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Dr. Pius Odubu as chairman of the governing board of the Niger Delta Development Commission is hereby confirmed as chairman of the Niger Delta Development Commission.
But one nominee was not lucky enough to make it onto the board for failure to meet the criteria required for confirmation.
Dr. Yembe Noel, member representing Rivers State on the NDC board, was absent and could not be screened. Her nomination is therefore not recommended for confirmation.
Joe Imebi Nunia, member representing Rivers State on the governing board of the Niger Delta Development Commission. Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The nays have it.
In a similar development, the Senate confirmed nomination of Justice John Soho as Chief Judge of the Federal High Court. The Senate also confirmed nomination of Justice Benedict Kayib as President of the National Industrial Court of Nigeria.
the confirmation of Honorable Justice John Temba Soho is hereby approved. The nomination of Honorable Justice Benedict Bakwab Kanyip for appointment as the Honorable President of the National Decor Court is hereby confirmed.
The Senate President affirms that the approval of the 2020 appropriation bill is still on course. Plenary was cut short and other legislative matters suspended to the next legislative sitting to allow committees enough time to address details of the 2020 budget. TJ Su Adeoye, TVC News, Abuja.
Here in Lagos, Lagos Island was chaotic on Tuesday morning when a fire started at the busy Balogun market. Soon, there were 2 fires in 2 buildings housing stores, shops and offices. Firefighters put out the fires before the evening, but the other blazed into the night. Our correspondent was at the market and fired this report.
Raging fire on this 5-story building on Martin Street, Oluwole Market on Lagos Island. This building houses several shops and offices. The fire is said to have started at about 9 a.m. and no one knows the cause of the movement. Not far away from here, on Dosumu Street, another building was on fire. Traders here struggle to recover what is left of their wares. Men of the fire service made frantic efforts and kept spreading until the damage became enormous.
Give emergency call from our call center that there is a fire incident that involved multi-story building at Martin Street and at Dosumu. Immediately we activated our emergency response plan. All the key stakeholders that are important in managing an emergency moved to the scene.
These shop owners are not happy with the situation, alleging that the agency got in a little too late.
This fire started before 10 a.m. and for more than 1 hour, no fire service came. After 1 hour, now this one where they here come. And this one where they here still spend some time before another one came at the front. And this one now, water don't finish. Water no day here again. And you can see the fire is still burning.
And some people come here, there are no water inside the motor this thing. We say why? Nigeria is supposed to win, even that we're supposed to have even the Elisa and the Jade to quench it from up as Nigeria.
As the fire was not enough, a part of the building came down, worsening an already bad situation for the traders, who may not have lost their wares in the inferno. After more than 10 hours, the firefighters and other emergency responders are still battling with this situation. The building, goods in the various shops all gone. But in the midst of all, thank goodness, no life was lost, leaving hope for a better tomorrow. Theophilus Ilama, TVC News, Lagos.
And that's all on the news. Ali's news update for this hour. Weather update is up next.
But you know, Mike, you could go and support the women too. Anyhow, let's start with the Punch newspaper. And we have this signing of bill in UK. Nigerians attack Buhari. Buhari now prefers working overseas, says the NBA. It's dictatorial, lawless, say Afenifere or Haneze. President can work from any part of the world, says the presidency, Anna Shomole. No letter on power transmission to Yemi Osinbajo, say the reps. Right at the top of the page here, it says telecom firms get 5 days to stop illegal deductions. Page 26 has more on that. Labor rights states sets for minimum wage negotiations. Air Peace makes air return over engine failure. Corruption persists despite Buhari's efforts, say SGF and SAGE. License cancellation. Federal government gives Disco's December 7th deadline. Court stops operation positive identification. Okay, so we're looking out for that verdict, and it seems it has come. Court stops operation positive identification. Sad one here. Fire guts Lagos factory, Balogun Dosumu market buildings. Page 4 has more on that, and I'll wrap it with this one. No going back. Edo 14 lawmakers tell Obaseki. Oshomole shuns questions on governor. That's what we have on the cover of the Punch.
Yeah, I've got the Vanguard right here in my hand, and it's talking about the tips of contracts story from yesterday. And it says, outrage trails presidency's attack on ex-presidents. The cock and bull story, Junaid Mohammed says, and prove it, IBB spokesman responds. Call them to account, Oshutokun. Name, shame them, says Afenifere. And a couple of other writers there, back and forth. Up here, we have a few stories. Operation Identify Yourself. Court orders army to maintain status quo. Globus Bank opens the customers today. Makinde orders demolition of torture center in Oyo. I'm a card-carrying member of the APC, REC nominee tells Senate. Oil price leaps to $62.5 a barrel amid a new OPEC report. And freight forwarders threaten to down tools over gridlock in Apapa. Lament loss of 3 members in 1 week. Wow. And Nigeria in messy situation because federal government failed to act against those threatening peace, unity, Shoyinka says. And finally, signing PSC bill in London. Buhari can govern from anywhere, Oshomole says. And that's what we have on the cover of the Vanguard.
We have something similar on the cover of the Nation newspaper. It says, Buhari can rule Nigeria from anywhere, says Oshomole. Deep Onshore Act amendment, a great step. Of course, that story continues on page 7. Minister orders cut of data rate. NCC operators get a deadline. Millions gone in Lagos market fire. It's a photo story there. We talked about that from another paper as well. Government, EU differ on $25 billion remittance. And court halts operation Show ID hearing for November 18th. I'll wrap with this one on EFCC. Maina will jump bail if granted. Family to testify. That's what we have on the cover of the Nation.
All right, we've got the Guardian here with a different twist to the headlines this morning, or a new angle. How rising seas may wipe off Lagos, others by 2050. I think we need to discuss this matter. 2050. Yeah. Anyway, experts recommend urgent, massive investment in barriers and say improved global warming statistics won't stop disaster. That's a really, really interesting story that I think everybody should read on page 6. And NCC gets deadline to address illegal data deductions and review price. And down here, Senate confirms Odubu Okumagba as NDDC chairman and MD and declines clearance of Rivers nominee Abaribe Ekweremadu, raised concern over interim board. And court stops military's Operation Positive Identification campaign. And Pinnick, Akinwumi, Diko, others cleared of graft charges. And Oshun to move from civil service state to regional commercial hub. I like that. And that's what we have on the cover of The Guardian.
We also have the Nigerian Tribune here. And as quickly as possible, it says, court stops Army's Operation Positive Identification. Page 6 has more on that. Balogun Market building burns for over 4 hours. Goods worth millions of naira lost. NDDC board presidency sabotaging Senate, says Ekweremadu. Alleged 544 million naira grass cutting scam. Court admits forensic report against Babashir, others. And I'll wrap with this. It says decisive action must be taken against Boko Haram. ISWAP, armed herdsmen, says Shoyinka. That's what we have on the cover of the Nigerian Tribune.
All right. Lagos traffic is next after this break.
When you hear that sound, you know we're about to give you an update on this beautiful Wednesday. The one thing we can know is how to make your day a little bit better. We're trying to get you to your destination safe and sound. That's why we're here to give you the right directions and tell you the red zones on the roads. Hopefully this will assist you and you can assist others by sending us updates and tagging our social media platforms. Use our hashtag WakeUpNigeria on TVC. Now, remember, drive carefully, but still keep us updated. We have quite a free road, I'm going to say a free road, from Bega to Marina right now. If you leave Bega right now, Bega bus stop right now, it'll take you about 53 minutes to get all the way to Marina on the island. But there are, of course, some trouble spots. The usual culprits are Ojota. The turnoff at Ojota has started to slow down already, which is to be expected. But if you decide to go through K2 or Tipa, you might be able to bypass it quickly, or maybe go through Ikeja somewhere else, take another route, you'll be able to bypass it. There's no more traffic until you get to Maryland. It's not that heavy. It's, you know, just slowing down gradually. But not to worry. You will have a lot of free road all past the other usual suspects. Obanikoro is free, Pedro is free, Shomolu is free, Fadeyi is free. The only trouble you'll have would be at Jibo. So the Jibo bypass, there's a bridge and then there's a way you can pass to go around Sonkuti, where that group of schools is. Yes, you could decide to pass through there to get to Ojelegba or go over the bridge. Either way, you'll be delayed there for about 5 minutes. When it comes to getting onto Western Avenue, where Alaka is, yes, that particular route is already blocked. It's advised to take an alternative route if you can find one. But Echo Bridge seems to be very green, very free. Try your best to get on the road right now if you want to get to your destination before the top of the hour, of the next hour. All right, so the guys in the kitchen, as always, have some tweets standing by for us. Yeah, so what do we have?
So I just wanted just a few tweets and pointers here. So, a broken down truck. Now, this was 10 minutes ago. Broken down truck at Maryland Interchange traffic light. That's a bad spot to have a breakdown. And there's no single traffic warden in the vicinity. And he's asking, are you on strike? So that's happening right now. So there's a broken down truck and it looks like it fell to the side a little bit. So please, if the authorities are listening, please help us have a look at that. Also, okay, so Kamoini, tweeting at Traffic Butter says, well, it's not as bad as it was yesterday. Now, he's talking about Dokwemo under bridge to Ikeja along. So yeah, so he said it's not as bad as yesterday. There's traffic there, but not as bad as yesterday. So yesterday must have been pretty tight. And then also he says there's a little slowdown at Cement and also at Mangoro bus stop, respectively. But yeah, so there's traffic, but not as bad as yesterday along that axis. So Dokpemu, Cement, Mangoro, not too bad, not too shabby this morning. That's what I have. I don't know if Mike has a few.
I don't have any yet, but today I saw about 2 broken down trucks at 2 different places. And the funny thing is that I don't know how they find a way to break down either where there's no light or something happens. They maybe just by a pothole or something. So most of the time you see that somebody's trying to dodge a pothole and just goes, you understand? Yeah. And then maybe it's something that when you're parking by the roadside you should look out for. Try to avoid any parking space that is close to a pothole, because while your car might be scratched or somebody might hit the car when the person is trying to avoid a pothole. That's what happens, you know. So if a truck is broken, or if it's a truck, so it's hard to move it. If it's a car, it's easier. Yeah. So, you know, but I saw two broken down. I can't remember the regions now, but 2 broken down trucks, and those things can be accident hazards.
Yeah. So please be careful as you go along the roads today.
It can be quite stressful just thinking about the fact that, you know, those trucks could topple. It's very stressful on the road. So please take it easy as you drive. Now, if you are heading from the Lekki area of Lagos, you have a journey ahead of you, especially if you're coming from Ajah. So along the Lekki-Ekpe Expressway, if you're coming from Ajah and you're heading all the way to the edge of VI, which I like to call Bonny Camp bus stop, you're going to have a 1 hour, 15-minute journey ahead of you. Now, the usual trouble spots are Chevron. In about 32 minutes, you will move from Chevron all the way down to Agungi. That place is jammed, locked. Down to the Cornell Junction, jammed, locked. You're not going to be moving very fast at all along that expressway. So just book 1 hour, 15 minutes for your journey. I'm going to be heading to the kitchen to meet the guys now.
So, Mike, so two things we'll probably, hopefully, can touch on. Today, first is the fire incident. Yesterday at Balogun Market. Initially it just started like something that, okay, 1 or 2 hours to go up, but it just kept spreading.
The inferno just moved up.
It just kept spreading and spreading and
Has
spreading.
the cause been identified?
No, it hasn't. People are saying since it was in the building, it's probably electrical. But this has continued to be a big challenge.
Yes. Especially when it starts getting to
and
the ember months as it is, end of the year.
The end of the year, the fact that a fire takes place in a place that is as thickly populated and as tightly packed as
dense. When you say dense, I don't know. It has to be somewhere like India to be more dense than Balogun Market.
Than Balogun. So you have a place like that, and what you then need is a very fully functional and fully equipped fire service, because there's no way that once in a while you're not going to have those kind of incidents.
No questions there.
But they just couldn't stem it. At some point, some of the guys were standing on fences.
I saw guys with
and throwing buckets of water.
The only way that can happen.
It's not. I mean, it's not the kind of thing that you should see. Those fires could have completely consumed the entire.
The whole market, yes. Because see, everything is like this. The buildings are like this. There's this guy who was on the fence or something. The way he was doing it, you know that he was going on.
It was a suicide mission.
But I felt like maybe it was his shop.
Maybe.
And he had to do something. Do you understand? He had to do something. So he was just like, okay, let me just try my stuff. And the guy was like, this man is mad. But hey, if my goods are burning, should I just sit and watch?
You get it? Maybe he just received his Christmas consignment.
Maybe.
And
look what happened
so you can just
on
imagine.
Yeah. It's about the same. Look what happened in Onisha. So the point is, I don't know. We need to be, as a nation, we need to be proactive. Reactive. That reactive nature has cost us too much.
I know that you were talking about, the fire service being well equipped, but the truth is that entire market is a fire and health hazard. It always has been. But the truth is the billions and billions of naira, in fact, not just naira that comes in and out of that place, is just too much of a deterrent for anything to have been done over the years. Or, I'm just thinking of the people that live there. There's some people that live in shops there. If, God forbid, some kind of disease or something like that was spreading in a place like Balogun Market and it was airborne, imagine the kind of spread. I'm just saying, that particular place itself, there has to be something done about how those buildings have been built, how they've been structured, some kind of overhaul has
I feel
to
like
happen.
with the marina just not too far from that place, there should be a way that, I mean, you don't need clean water to put out a fire. You understand what I'm saying? You don't need pipe-borne water or fresh water to put out a fire. You just need water. So find a way to channel some of that water into a functioning system that can just ensure that that whole place, there's a fire hydrant every few meters, so that when something like this happens, it's the most thickly populated area in Lagos. When something like that happens, at least there's a fire hydrant close by, so that you can catch the fire within an hour of it starting.
You're talking about a fire hydrant. Is there even running water in many cases?
No. That's why I said from the marina. Those particular ones, they don't have to be pipe-borne water. They just need to have access to that water, channel that water.
It has happened so much that it's here. It's on all levels. Apart from whatever government can do, there's an association of traders there, and they pay levies. They could as well do that for themselves. Like, do you understand? From whichever side, it's densely populated. Look, no matter how we talk about it, you can't unpopulate that kind of a place in a short time or whatever. That's not the issue. People are trying to hustle for their food. But the point is that let's look at measures not to ensure that this doesn't happen. They said the fires had to use like almost 2 hours, and even when it got there, I think there was some reports that there was no water or something and all of that. The traders that have their stuff, they pay levies. They have an association. It should be on standby, especially this period.
Yeah.
Like, let's get a fire station close to that market, because we know anything can happen at any time.
I mean, think about it. I mean, so a fire starts maybe a few meters away from your shop, and you're carrying stuff out of your shop. Where are you going to put the things that you're carrying? Because I was seeing traders with sacks and cartons of things coming out of their shop. So where are they? So it's really, really tough, for many people. So they've stressed themselves. They've imported the goods. Spends time on Apapa Oshodi Expressway clearing it, gone through all that stress. Finally, okay, I warehouse my goods, and then the fire starts a few meters away. Now I have to move out all the goods and be looking for a truck to like, it's crazy. And so when people are moving out of the country and they say, you know what, I can't do this again, you can't blame them.
So the one in Onisha was fuel, and it was going through the gutters, and the fire was just following the gutters and going. This wasn't a fuel tanker kind of thing, thankfully. But imagine if there was a fuel tank somewhere close by that got affected by this. Well, this would have been a lot worse. So I'm thinking, yes, fire services and all that. There is an underlying issue. Having so many people
the population
in that place is just a hazard. Even going to buy things there is a hazard for people. Things could fall on you. Like, seriously, you could be going through some alleyways and people are knocking you, hitting you. People with things on their heads could drop something on you. It's actually it's a bigger issue.
At the rate we're going, that for now, that is a secondary matter. Yes, because you can't depopulate that.
You can't. And there are a lot of other places. Alaba, look at Alaba. Exactly. It's just as. But I think Alaba is better planned.
Exactly.
In a way, when you look at it, because it looks like.
You're looking at the commercial
I think planning. Planning is one of the key things that needs to happen in Balogun market, because they've started planning in Tejosho, and you can see that things are a little bit more sane.
Better
in that area.
You know that those are hubs. People even come from the east and come to Balogun, Dumota area.
Planning can be enforced. Planning has been enforced in Computer Village. At least they're trying to make sure that there is.
There's pathways
for people to pass and all of that.
Someday on tech, we just do the myths of Computer Village.
We need to. I think we need
feel that Computer Village is worse than Afghanistan. The day you are going to Computer Village, you prepare as you are going to Syria.
Wear certain kind of shoes. Make sure that you.
But there's some things really for Computer Village. You have to be street smart, kind of.
You have to be street smart.
This from personal experience, man. From the way you even dress, safe. The way you don't go to Computer Village with some kind of dresses. I'm just telling you.
And when you go to Computer Village, don't all that English. Just tone it down. Just tone down your English.
Just know where you're going to when you get there.
And you do too much fun, that your USB cable is now 1.5.
Wow.
Right, that's all we can take on our gist this morning. There's something else I want to talk about. That'll be later. We have performances coming up, and of course, birthday shout out. Don't go nowhere. The way you are saying it as if me and Stephen C are performing. But yeah, it's just Stephen C, who of course is going to drop a performance for us this morning. He's popularly, Stephen Osage, popularly known by his stage name Stevie C, is an artist, songwriter, producer, sound engineer, and multi-instrumentalist currently signed to Citalk Global. Did I get that there? Citalk. Yeah. You do everything. Which of them came first? So which one comes naturally to you? Producing, playing the instruments, or singing? Which one comes more naturally? Singing?
Came to me first, followed by playing instruments.
Okay.
But right now, I'm just more into the production because I was once an instrumentalist in South Africa.
Take it higher. Let's hear you.
I was once an instrumentalist in South Africa trying to, make ends meet. Yeah, but right now I'm just focused on the production and the singing aspect.
How long were you in South Africa?
For over 4 years.
Oh, wow. Yeah. How is music? Let's juxtapose music in South Africa, doing music in South Africa, and doing music in Nigeria. What's it like? Okay,
for me, I think I had to come back because it's more like you're trying to sell a brand that is usually sold from outside. Like you need to be in your country to make them feel you rather than being in that space for them to feel is like that kind of a thing. So yeah, doing music in South Africa was great because I worked with a couple of guys producing for them, studio stuff and all that. So far it was nice.
All right, cool. He spoke about feeling himself in his country. He's in his own country now. Let's feel a bit of Stevie C. Take it away.
All right.
Let's play the game. Give me rope, I be rope. You not be rope, I don't be rope. Let's say politicians with the thief money.
Hello and good morning. Once again, we're ready to start another amazing hour of Wake Up Nigeria.
Yeah, of course, our morning has been borderline fantastic.
Yes, indeed. Honestly, when it comes to having an absolutely amazing time, we're about to get the ball out of the park. My name...
Like that?
Yeah. Hit the ball out of the park. Have you ever played baseball?
No, I haven't. But I had a baseball bat for protection one time.
Wow. Yeah. He's Yomi Owokwe.
Yeah, and she's, you know her.
She don't know my name.
Titi Oyinson is her name.
Thank you. Introduce me.
AKA Titi the Dynamite.
Yes, indeed.
AKA
what?
Mama Beji.
Yeah.
And do you have any other aliases?
You have AKA Man in Grey. Have you? Yeah.
Young Lion.
Young Lion.
That's a good one.
Okay, let's tell everybody what to do. We have to have you stream with us, please. Stream live with us on tvcentertainment.tv and of course on Facebook Live at TVC Connect.
Yep, and of course our app is also available both on the Android and iOS stores. The app allows you to watch us from anywhere in the world.
Honestly, if you don't have that app, what are you waiting for? We have another amazing chef in the kitchen. I'll be joining her very, very soon.
Yeah, something about mincemeat is going to be happening today.
Mincemeat puff. Kind of
mincemeat, yeah. Anyway,
I'm a little confused.
A lot of frying of meat and flour, but something will come out of it at the end of the day. And I will be
testing it and informing you guys how far. Just kidding. And speaking of kidding, we have quite a lot to come.
And then we'll bring you another musical performance from Afro-pop artist Cartesian.
By the nigga with the dough. Don't give a fuck by the nigga who's broke. What to do? What can I do? She got me your
Now, the science of happiness, is that really a thing? Joining us is relationship expert Dima Mwobi, fondly called the Queen of Happiness, and she's going to give us some more insight on this area.
And for our makeover series, we have the CEO of 6 Sense Interiors, Dr. Olagbegi, to talk about design on the budget.
Wow. Then we have singer, songwriter, and actress, as well as model Okemute, winner of Project Fame West Africa Season 9. Yeah, another packed show.
Yeah.
Another packed show.
Yeah.
So I wanted to, give a shout out to Ramsey Noah yesterday. There was a few people that wanted to take selfies and pictures with him yesterday, and he was just being so patient.
Yeah,
and
taking
everything.
everybody.
And then I went out a little later on in the afternoon, and I went into the mall, and then someone wanted to take pictures with me. And then as soon as people saw that people were taking pictures, they were, automatically alarmed that, oh, who is that person? And then people just started coming. And coming.
To take pictures with you?
Take pictures with me. They didn't know I don't think they all knew who I was.
You don't know you're famous.
But I was a little overwhelmed, and I was like, so this is what Ramsey Noah was trying to
Why is Mike smiling?
Dodge.
Smiling.
No, it actually kind of overwhelmed me a little. I was like, okay.
So in your mind now, you're a global...
No, it actually really freaked me out. And I was
Yeah.
just like, okay, when is this going to end?
Yeah.
And then one person just now spoiled everything. See anything for the boys. I was like, come on. I just started walking.
You know what you just said doesn't happen to any of us.
Really?
It doesn't happen to any of us.
Yomi, it happens to you.
No,
it happens
no,
to
it
you.
doesn't.
People want to take selfies with you.
I look unapproachable.
Mike,
it doesn't happen to Mike.
Cap.
So, yeah, great one there. So I saw this video just recently, and see, for all of you that are fighting for animal rights, Big Something is doing some of you.
Wow.
So there's this 5. I don't know if you've taken grass cutter. Have you eaten grass bush meat?
Oh yeah, of course.
You know how sweet that thing is.
I don't remember, but yeah, I'm sure it's
Korean bush meat. They laid out 5 lines on the table. One guy looking on his video was crying. Wildlife. What's the report to you? Let's go. You know, one beach, somewhere in Sagbama or Bayelsa, so when you see correct grass cutter, like 5 like this on the table, and you are saying wildlife. See, there are some things, it's not bush meat you come and do your save wildlife. It's not with bush meat. Leave our grass cutter alone.
Mike.
Then, I don't know, have you guys, there was cobra by the side, correct snake meat there.
Just because of this thing Mike said, we're going to have to talk about animal rights.
Animal rights.
We have to talk about it because it's a big deal. But we don't have time to talk about it now. Ibrahim is on standby.
Mike, be careful. There is Lassa fever in the town, so don't be eating wildlife anyhow. All right, back to the news. The new board will be taking over the affairs of the Niger Delta Development Commission. The board was confirmed by the Senate and has been asked to replace the interim management team set up by the Minister of the Niger Delta. The team was to oversee a forensic audit of the agency, but Senate President Ahmed Lawan says the law setting up the NDDC does not recognize any interim arrangement once the board is in place. The upper legislative chamber confirmed the nomination of Pius Odubu as the chairman of the Niger Delta Development Commission alongside 14 other board members. But one nominee was not lucky enough to make it onto the board for failure to meet the criteria required for confirmation. The Senate President affirms that the approval of the 2020 appropriation bill is still on course. And Lagos Island was chaotic on Tuesday morning when a fire started at a busy Balogun market. Soon there was 2 fires in 2 buildings housing stores, shops and offices. Firefighters put out one of the fires before evening, but the other blazed into the night. The fire is said to have started at about 9 a.m. and no one knows the cause at that moment. Another building at Dosumo Street was on fire. After about 6 hours, the fire subsided, but lots of money had been lost. The House of Representatives is seeking the immortalization of a physician, Stella Adadivo, who died while curbing the outbreak of Ebola. It also wants necessary materials and personnel deployed at airports, seaports and land borders for the screening of passengers. In 2014, Stella Adadivo quarantined the Liberian-American diplomat Patrick Sawyer, whom she suspected had the Ebola virus. Sadly, Mr. Sawyer not only died of the virus, Adadivo and some other medical officers lost their lives in the process. To avert a repeat of the sad incidents and in view of the recent outbreak of the virus in Democratic Republic of Congo, the legislators call for proactive measures from the authorities. The lawmakers want a prominent government health institution in Lagos named after Stella Adadivo. Outside Nigeria, at least 3 women and 6 children, all U.S. citizens, have been killed by a suspected drug cartel in northern Mexico. 6 children were found alive. One child had a bullet wound and 1 child was still missing. Mexican Security Secretary Alfonso Durazo said the gunmen may have mistaken the group's large SUVs for rival gangs. The victims are part of a community of an offshoot of the Mormon Church. A global group of around 11,000 scientists have endorsed research that says the world is facing a climate emergency. The study says without deep and lasting changes, the world is facing untold human suffering. The researchers issued a grim warning of the untold suffering that will be caused by climate change if humanity does not take action to reduce harmful practices. The latest report, published in Bioscience, a peer-reviewed scientific journal based on 40 years of data on a range of measures, also criticized policymakers for failing to take action. And as a news update for this hour, stay tuned.
Okay, so Chef EP is in the house, and this is something quite... is that sausage?
Yes.
This is miniature size. Yeah. I've not seen this size before, right?
The special one.
Okay, special one. All right, Chef EP, it's great to have you. You're welcome. Been a while. So what are we doing this morning?
Stuffed mincemeat sausage puff puff.
Stuffed mincemeat sausage puff puff.
Yes.
Cool.
Wow.
So I can see. Let's go through. Let's go over with the ingredients that we have here.
We don't really have much today. So this cucumber is for decoration or garnishing.
Okay, garnishing. So there's no.
And this pepper sauce, actually, we are doing pepper sauce.
Pepper and puff puff.
Yes.
Your head is there.
And then
All right. What else do we have?
These are sausages, are minced meat, already seasoned.
Okay.
And molded to the way you want. You can mold it round. Then our puff puff, I've already mixed it already.
Ah, bring it here. Hey,
Because
bring
of
it.
time, you need to rise.
Oh, you want it to rise? Oh,
Yes, so-
okay.
Is it reason?
Okay.
Is it
So,
reason?
so what was the mix inside?
Okay, we
here?
have sugar, the flour, a pinch of salt, and nutmeg.
Nutmeg. That's a secret ingredient a lot of people don't realize about.
Yes,
What does it bring to?
It gives you a
It's a
special aroma, taste.
fragrance.
Yes.
Okay, so but it doesn't do so much for the taste. Does it do anything for the taste?
Yes, it gives you that difference. When you eat pawpaw with nutmeg, you will know. And then when you eat one that is plain, you will know.
Wow.
And then this pepper also going inside the...
I like, you know, I like Chef Ife. She just wears it's puff puff. No find more fancy name and all that. We love our puff puff and we love some pepper in our puff puff.
So is there a reason why you're putting it in a dark cupboard?
Yes, for it, you have to put it in a cool place.
Okay.
So that it will rise quickly.
Okay.
Because we don't have time.
So how much longer for that?
25, 30 minutes should be okay.
Okay, so are we going to do anything here while we're waiting for that?
Yes, we just want to pan fry that
Okay.
a bit. And then this, we are chopping this, going inside the flour also. So we are having like three types of puff puff today.
Oh.
Peppered puff puff, minced meat, sausage, and then with pepper sauce, and then a glass of zobo going with it.
So look at the minimal ingredients she's using to do three types of.
Three types. I like that. So, but
Really
I'm
cool.
really looking for where can I get this kind of miniature?
The stores.
I can, eh?
It's in the store, yes. It's in a can.
Okay, so for those that are wondering the ingredients that we have, hey, it's right there on your
don't
screen.
have
That's
much.
a recipe menu for today. You can check out. We have sugar, sausage, cucumber, plain flour, and of course breadcrumbs. We have fresh pepper. We have minced meat. We have a nutmeg,
Cucumber.
like you said. We have egg. We have salt. We have onions. So they said nutmeg is a special, super secret ingredient, SSS. That's what nutmeg is. So I see nutmeg. I didn't know it was that special. But hey, today when I go, I say, do you know the special ingredients?
Nutmeg.
Nutmeg.
So I love mincemeat, Mike. You know
Okay.
why?
Why?
Because there's so many uses for mincemeat.
For mincemeat, okay.
Some people use it for sauce. Some people use it in like meat pies, burgers.
Do you buy them minced or you do that yourself? Can you buy minced?
Mince, you can do it yourself.
Yeah.
Go to the local market, buy your meat, and then
Tell them to mince it.
to blend or grind.
To blend or
grind it.
not so local. There's some kind of supermarkets that'll do that. The way you say, it's not really. I've gone, it's not all supermarket. There's supermarket.
No, not supermarkets. Local markets.
Yeah.
Like if you
local
want it
market.
local, yes.
So if you go, so are you saying this frozen food people?
Yeah, so it doesn't. You shouldn't really buy mincemeat frozen. You
Yes.
should buy like refrigerated. Yeah. So now I like the idea of buying actual meat. And then these manual meats actually.
Yes, those tiny ones are used.
Yeah, it's worth
blend
it,
it.
but
Can't do it that way. You just buy your meat, put it in the freezer for it to block, and then put in your mortar and blend and pound.
wow. For real?
Yes. But you have
So-
to be blocked for you to pound it, so to just...
So if it's that, for me, I feel like I could get meat, that's beef. I could get chicken. I could get gizzard. And mince them. Have you ever tried that?
I've not tried
never
it,
tried
but
it?
you can do it, actually.
Have you ever tried that? Titi?
Combo meat. Well, I wouldn't add the gizzard. I would add the chicken and the beef.
I mean, you've ever tried with gizzard?
No.
Because in my
Gizzard is
mind now,
special,
calm
so
down. No. See, in my mind now, what is coming? Now put snail joint.
Wow.
What is in my mind now?
Pound it or what?
That combo
Pound
is.
it, how do you do it?
You mean it now?
No, I bet.
But it might taste good if Chef Ife
probably
is in
would.
charge.
You probably would.
You know, we'll
Probably
take a quick break though, and when we return, there's so much more.
Our second performance today is from this young man right beside me who looks very, I love the look with the glasses. Catterson is in the house. How you doing, Catterson?
Yo, I'm good. What's up?
Now, his rise to the music scene has been relentless following the releases of his track Oxygen, Update, and much more, which received positive reviews. Now he's back with a new track titled Like Rihanna.
Yeah, like Rihanna.
So you and Don Jazzy are dragging Rihanna, Abi?
No, only me.
Only you. Yeah. Can you handle Don Jazzy? Because it's like you guys are, I know, there's that love for Rihanna. So what inspired that song? Definitely like Rihanna. I'm sure it has to be a like for Rihanna. So
yeah, exactly. Like Rihanna was inspired, like my love for like beautiful women, and I also have a personal crush for Rihanna myself too. So.
Wow. Yeah. Well, you have to stand in the line because there are plenty of you having a personal crush for Rihanna. In fact, it's been a while she dropped. People are calling out for some new work from her and all of that. But hey, come on. So, like Rihanna is your third or fourth single?
It's my second single, actually.
Your second single.
Yeah.
Okay. Any talks or any work on an album or something coming soon?
Yeah, I'm working on my EP, Boy Catty.
Boy Catty.
Yeah.
Okay, how soon can that be expected?
Next year.
All right, great one. So, let's see how much this guy loves Rihanna. The only way we can see it is via the song. All right, take it away, Catson.
All right, thanks.
Hey, I just feel your body so, feel your body so. Yeah, you know, say that you got me on the low, and you know, say I be killing every show, Just a fine girl, put her on my Snapchat. Baby, wanna see that booty clap back.
Very nice. All the great music that we have on the show today. Yeah, somebody was clapping off air. Anyway, on our makeover series today, we have the founder and chief facilitator, I like that, of the Sixth Sense Academy, which is an interior design school birthed by Sixth Sense Interiors. And joining us to talk about design on a budget is Tope Olagbegi this morning. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
I'm liking your outfit.
Thank you.
The mixing of the colors and stuff like that. So which is part of what you're going to be talking to us about today?
Well, I will be talking a bit about that.
So sometimes, the biggest challenge anyone who's starting afresh, whether it's an office or in your home, which is what we're focusing on today, is the budget. And it just seems like everything is expensive.
Right.
In fact, I remember maybe 15 years ago or so, when I moved to my first house. It was a small one-bedroom, and I bought the carpet and I bought the curtains, and I was broke. So for a few months, I was just sleeping in the living room. I couldn't furnish anything else because I guess maybe I didn't have a budget. So maybe that's why it happened. But talk to us why a budget is so important.
A budget is important for so many reasons. Half the time when people get apartments, they don't factor in decorating. So they get the apartment and they're all about getting this perfect space for their family, and then they're in a dilemma because they haven't put anything aside for the furnishing, of this space, So kids have got to sleep on beds, and most likely eat on dining tables, and you need a sofa. But half the time when we're thinking of our homes, furnishing it comes secondary. So it's really important when thinking about either leasing or buying property to factor in decorating it, because a space has no function if there isn't furniture in it.
So even before you even lease or buy, you have to even be thinking about what you're going to put inside. So that's part of the budget.
Very important.
Okay, so that's important because most people just say, okay, you know what, I need 500K to rent a house, and then you pay the 500K and then you can do it.
Sleep on the floor.
Well, I slept on the floor for a few months, but yeah eventually things turned around.
Yeah.
So next step. So I have a budget, and I'm thinking, does any budget work, or is there a minimum standard when you're thinking about?
Well, it depends on the individual, and it depends on personal preference, right? Some people can be asked, whether or not, the couch looks nice, they're happy to live with it. But some people are very particular about, how their home looks and how their space looks, and it has a very strong correlation to how they function, So for people like that, not any budget will do, But there's something that I'd like to say, though, that with decorating, it doesn't have to be all done up at once.
Right, okay. Okay.
And so when people are thinking of purchasing furniture or furnishing, they should open their minds to spacing and pacing themselves. Yeah. So everybody, I mean, most people want to do everything all at once.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
it doesn't need to be done all at once.
Yeah, because when I want to do my housewarming, I want everywhere to be
kind of set.
to be set. So it's a lot of pressure.
Right.
So, but I like this idea of pacing yourself. So you can say maybe this quarter I want to do this.
I want to face this. Yes.
Okay, so that's important. I think that's a very, very important point.
And sorry to cut you short, but why I say this is because, you know, what we don't want to do is to get on decorating or furnishing and we do a shoddy job. Yeah. And so people would put in kitchen cabinets that 6 months down the line, they begin to fall off the hinges. Yeah. But when we pace ourselves, we tend to do more qualitative work that then lasts for a longer period.
Okay, so if I were to, so I have a 2-bedroom and I say to myself, okay, I'm meeting Tope Olagbegi and I said, it's empty. What's the first thing that you're going to ask me if you're going to be asking me questions? Or if I came to you and I said, I need a design consulting or whatever it is?
It's not a question you're going to like. It's not a question most people like.
Yeah.
But the truth is most designers are going to ask you for your budget up front. Yeah. And half the time it's like the toughest question.
Yeah, it's
half
a tough question.
People have a quizzical look on their faces and they're like, why do you want to know how much I want to spend? But honestly, your designer needs to know how much is available to be spent. And for the simple reason.
Question.
Right.
Because it's like, I don't know how much things cost. So.
Right. And so if you tell me what is at your disposal, for instance, you know, your designer or whoever it is going to work best in thinking of where to splurge and where to go cheap and cheerful. But if I'm working blind, you know, it's a lot more work for the designer because then I don't know if you want to sleep on a 250,000 naira bed or you want to sleep on a 1.5 million naira bed.
Oh, there's a 1.5 million naira bed.
There's 10 million naira bed.
I hope my producer is listening. There's a 10 million naira bed.
Yes, there is.
And wow. Okay, so what's it made of? Is it, you know? Anyway, we'll
get to that.
We'll get to
eventually.
Yeah. Anyway, okay. So there's 250,000 on the low end.
Yeah. No.
For a bed.
There's 70,000 naira beds.
Okay,
by the way.
Okay, yes. So there's 70K, and then there's 10 million.
Yeah.
So it just depends on what the budget is and how much I'm able to.
On your personal preference.
Okay, so if a client says, you know, break the bank, then you can then say give them the best of the best, right?
Yes, you give them best, or we can even go as far as giving them designers.
Right. Right. Okay.
And so you can splurge.
Like a designer bathroom, like a Versace bathroom or
yes,
something.
You can give them
that's
brand
crazy.
names.
Okay, so so coming to you, you ask them for the budget first. So people actually need to think about how much they want to spend.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Very necessary, you know. So like you rightly pointed out, what if I just don't know what anything costs, right? This is where we have a dialogue, all right?
Right.
And whether we like it or not, it's like shopping for a pair of shoes. You know at the back of your mind that I will not spend 100K.
On a pair of shoes.
On a pair of shoes.
Exactly.
You know, your mind doesn't even want to begin to think about 100,000 naira pair of shoes. So the essence of this conversation is in you saying to me, I'm open to a 7,500 pair of shoes. All right? And so in speaking to your designer, and most people are never quite upfront. Right? They're either very mouthy about their expectations, and when it comes to the nitty-gritty of it, we find that, oh my goodness, the budget is really lean.
Exactly.
Right.
So usually people know how much they don't want to spend.
Yeah.
But,
so you might not know how much you want to spend, but you know what you don't want to spend.
Exactly, exactly.
Or what you can't afford to spend.
But budgeting is important,
Very
and also
important.
adequate planning, even before you get your space and all of that. Thank you so much, Dr. Olagbegi, for joining us and for talking about this really, really important thing. The budget is important. So if you're thinking about doing some design this Christmas, don't overdo it. You know, just pace yourself. Hopefully, you learned a thing or two. There's more on Wake Up Nigeria after this.
And on that cracking note, we have to come into the kitchen now. I don't know, after laughing so hard, I am getting hungry. Chef Ify keeping us all hungry in the kitchen right now.
Wow.
How you doing?
Fine, good.
All right, so far so good. You've been, well, before we went to a break, we had you, what was it you said you did? You shallow fried
yes.
the mincemeat. But for those that are just tuning in, we're making
stuffed mincemeat sausage puff puff.
Stuffed mincemeat sausage puff puff.
Yes.
All right. The ingredients are on your screen right now. Sugar, sausage, cucumber, plantain, or sorry, plain flour, not plantain. Breadcrumbs, fresh pepper, mincemeat, of course, and you can see all the others on the list there. And so far, so good. Obviously, with the vegetable oil standing by, we know that we've not started doing the puff puff itself.
No, it's very soon.
The ingredients for the puff puff mix.
Ready itself.
Okay, please bring it out. The ingredients for the puff puff mix are coming out of our little hiding place there. So let's tell people what we added to this.
So normal flour, plain flour, sugar, a pinch of salt, and nutmeg.
All right, and you can see it has that jiggle.
Yes.
That jiggle. That's what you're looking
Ready.
for. So this sausage was something that we were focused on earlier.
Okay.
They're very cute sausages, and you put them on sticks. Why did you put them on sticks?
Because that's how we are going to fry it today.
That's how you're going to fry it?
Yes.
All right. Okay. So show us how you put them on the sticks. Yes.
Okay.
And,
so after frying,
just
take one. You can use any sausage, the bigger ones.
Yeah.
And then cut it the way you want it.
So you just basically skewer them on?
Yes, in the middle. Just like you're doing your stick meat. Stick sausage and stick mincemeat.
All right. Fabulous. So once you've done all this and you set this aside, I guess you move on to the flour, am I right?
Yes. So
what's next?
And our pepper sauce is ready.
All right, all right. Pepper sauce is like for the puff
a
puff.
dip.
Okay.
Yes.
Fabulous.
Okay, so we are ready to fry.
So now that we're ready to fry, what are we looking out for with the flour?
So we are just going to dip this.
Okay. So you just dip the stick.
The stick meat or sausage in, and then you fry. Yes.
So are we shallow frying,
no,
deep
we are
frying?
deep frying. It's puff
Okay.
puff. We are deep frying. So.
I'm actually really interested in finding out how it was going to stick. So it's actually sticking quite well. It's
so
not...
when you're missing your puff puff, you have to be careful so it won't be watery.
So this is the mincemeat roll here. And let me see how the sausage looks in there. Okay. The same. So just keep turning it in there.
Keep rolling, yes.
Like that?
Yes.
All right.
And then deep fry.
Beautiful, beautiful. So can I just put all the sticks inside the puff puff once and for all? You have to go one by one.
Yes, just.
You mentioned 3 types of puff puff.
Yes,
today.
so after we are done with this, this pepper, chopped pepper and the onion, we are going to mix it in the batter also.
Okay.
So that's another peppered puff puff. Because some people don't like their puff puff plain. And then it's actually sweet and spicy that way.
Okay, all right. So I guess we're ready to put the oil to start deep frying now. You did mention this cucumber was for garnishing.
Yes.
But is it possible to add, something like the cucumber to a skewer as well and deep fry it?
Yes, you can fry cucumber, you can fry onion, and then spice it up and eat it that way.
Okay, fantastic, fantastic. So for those that are just tuning in, we have sausages on a stick here. We have a minced beef on a stick as well. We have a peppered sauce ready, and we're getting set to deep fry these babies right here. This is like a janded puff puff, very janded, very international.
So when you're eating, you're not just eating plain flour, you're eating it with protein.
So yeast takes quite a while to rise. Did you mix it before coming to the studio? You mixed it here in the studio?
Yes.
Okay. And how long did it sit for?
It's like 20 to 25 minutes.
20 to 25 minutes.
Yes.
Okay. But if you leave it for longer than that, is it a problem?
No. So it will prove more.
But how long is too long then?
It depends on the quantity.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you're doing more of this, it take longer time. So, but let us 40 to 45 minutes, your purpose should be ready.
All right, so we're waiting for the oil to heat up. That's why we haven't dipped anything in yet.
Yes.
But essentially, all these on a
going in
stick
there.
are going to go straight into the hot oil, and they're going to fry up nicely. But we have to wrap this up now. Wake Up Nigeria continues. Great morning, fantastic atmosphere. What more can we say? We're number one, we're numero uno.
Yes, indeed. That's right. Wake Up Nigeria started at 6 a.m. That's 2 hours ago. And every single thing is going quite smoothly, as you can see. Smooth. What's that smooth thing that you guys are doing in the kitchen?
Okay, so it's puff puff.
Okay.
But stuffed puff puff.
Stuffed puff puff.
That's what we're doing in the kitchen today.
Okay.
Interesting stuff. My name is Titilayo Oyinson.
I'm Yomi Opa. You could watch us live if you have to be out at tvcentertainment.tv and on Facebook.
At TVC Connect, please connect with us, send in those comments. Use our hashtag #WakeUpNigeria on TVC.
Yeah, the TVC app is also available for download both on the Android and iOS stores. Now, this app allows you to watch us from anywhere in the world.
So there's something we're going to be talking about today. The science of happiness. Is it really a thing? Have you ever heard of it before? We're finding out more. Joining us is relationship expert Dimma Nwobi, fondly called the Queen of Happiness.
The Queen of Happiness.
She'll be giving us some insight on that.
It's going to make us all happy today.
We'll find out soon.
There's some people that say, but anyway, I was going to say something, but it's fine. Finally, we have singer, songwriter, actress, and model Okemuti, winner of Project Fame West Africa Season 9, joining us on the show.
Yes, indeed. Now, there was something we saw in the paper earlier on.
Well, the report.
Yes.
There's a report that says that in the next 50 years, Lagos will be underwater.
I think it's 30 years now. So
Okay, well,
2020 is next year.
Yeah, in the next 30 years. So by 2050, Lagos as we know it will be underwater. It's maybe underwater, let me not say will be. And so they're asking for proactive steps to be taken to stem against the tide, literally. Stemming against the tide of water flowing into the state.
So I was saying, that there are cities that have survived underwater for hundreds of years. You have Venice.
Under the sea level.
Under the sea level, rather. But even underwater, Venice is literally underwater. It's like the foundations are in water, So the foundations of most of the buildings are in water. So when you think about it, below sea level and underwater is almost the same thing.
Well, yeah. So for some of these, I think it's something that can be stemmed with technology. So with the advent of technology and other ways to manage some of these things, and even buildings that have certain kinds of foundations, then it's something that people can survive.
The point is, if as a city, if Lagos is even prepared for that, like you said, we were talking about it, taking proactive measures, do we have the kind of buildings that we have now, can they withstand water? No. No. So we have to find a way to really, like you said, stem the tide. We can't, what we have now, with the infrastructure we have now, we cannot survive as though we're a Venice or something. No. We don't have those kind of structures. There are structures that are built specifically to stay in water, to take water. Those are the kind of structures we have. So it's not possible. We can't stay. So the point is that you have to ensure that we drive back the ocean. We stem the tide, we push the tide back. That's just it.
It's one of the
we don't have structures that can...
I know that on part of the plans for Eco-Atlantic, even though they were reclaiming land, was to also to ensure that the foundations of the new buildings that were built would rise higher than... You need to make them higher, and then you need reinforced concrete. So that's concrete and steel. To make sure that whatever happens, whatever happens, it's fine.
It's interesting because so in Amsterdam, for instance, it's well known that Holland, the Netherlands, is below sea level. It's been that way for hundreds of years, and they literally survive on canals.
Yeah.
Every street has a canal on it and all that, and but it took them hundreds of years to get to that, and I know they probably still do have issues that their government has found a way to manage.
Yeah.
But the kind of houses you see here, you still see people living in thatch, you know, in slums and things like that. So all these things are still factors to think about.
Yeah.
But 2050, how old will you be in 2050?
2050, adding 30 years to my life right now.
It'll be our kids.
I'll be in my early 70s.
Yeah, so like, okay, our kids are going to be dealing with this issue, so we need to think about
I'll still be around.
Yeah, of course we will.
Yeah, I'll still be around.
We'll still be around, but it's something we need to think about.
Let's go to the news now. Ibrahim is on standby for us.
All right, welcome to the news. A new board will be taking over the affairs of the Niger Delta Development Commission. The board was confirmed by the Senate and has been asked to replace the interim management team set up by the Minister of the Niger Delta. That team was to oversee a forensic audit of the agency, but Senate President Ahmed Lawan says the law setting up the NDDC does not recognize any interim arrangements once a board is in place. The Upper Legislative Chamber confirmed the nomination of Pius Odubo as the chairman of the Niger Delta Development Commission alongside 14 other board members. But one nominee was not lucky enough to make it onto the board for failure to meet the criteria required for confirmation. The Senate President affirms that approval of the 2020 appropriation bill is still on course. Lagos Island was chaotic on Tuesday morning when a fire started at the busy Balogun market. Soon, there was 2 fires in the 2 buildings, housing stores, shops and offices. Firefighters put out one of the fires before evening, but the other blazed into the night. The fire is said to have started at about 9 a.m. and no one knows the cause at the moment. Another building at Dosumu Street was on fire. After about 6 hours, the fire subsided, but lots of money had been lost. And the House of Representatives is seeking the immortalization of a physician, Stella Adadivo, who died while curbing the outbreak of Ebola. It also wants necessary materials and personnel deployed at airports, seaports and land borders for the screening of passengers. In 2014, Stella Adadivo quarantined a Liberian-American diplomat, Patrick Sawyer, whom she suspected had the Ebola virus. Sadly, Mr. Sawyer not only died of the virus, Adadivo and some other medical officers lost their lives in the process. To avert a repeat of the sad incidents and in view of the recent outbreak of the virus in Democratic Republic of Congo, the legislators call for proactive measures from the authorities. They also want a prominent government health institution in Lagos named after Stella Adadivo. Outside Nigeria, at least 3 women and 6 children, all U.S. citizens, have been killed by a suspected drug cartel in northern Mexico. 6 children were found alive, 1 child had a bullet wound, and 1 child was still missing. Mexican Security Secretary Alfonso Durazo said the gunmen may have mistaken the group's large SUVs for rival gangs. The victims are part of a community of an offshoot of the Mormon Church. And a global group of around 11,000 scientists have endorsed research that says the world is facing a climate emergency. The study says without deep and lasting changes, the world is facing untold human suffering. The researchers issued a grim warning of the untold suffering that will be caused by climate change if humanity does not take action to reduce harmful practices. The latest report published in Bioscience, a peer-reviewed scientific journal based on 40 years of data on a range of measures, also criticized policymakers for failing to take action. And as the news today on Wake Up Nigeria, stay tuned.
Hello and welcome back. Now, the science of happiness. Is this really a thing? I've been asking myself that question all morning. Now joining us is relationship expert Dimma Nwobi. She's fondly called the Queen of Happiness, and she's the creator of the Architecture of Intentional Happiness, a step-by-step process based on evidence-based tools and methodologies from positive psychology, emotional intelligence, and much more. Thank you so much for coming to the studio this morning.
It's my pleasure to be here.
All right, so the science of happiness. Are we talking formulas here? Are we talking, how do we break down what the science of happiness is?
Okay, basically the science of happiness talks about the skills that a person needs to be happy, premised on the fact that happiness is not just a thing. It is a skill that can be learned. So maybe to set the background, I'll just tell you a bit about the happiness equation.
Okay.
So some research was done about 2,000 twins were separated at birth and their life studied to see, okay, so how can those people grow to be happy? So at the end of it, it was found that if what makes happiness would be 100%, the genetic set points will account for 50%. Those are maybe genes, hereditary. And so if we're relating it to relationship, we could say the personalities of the people, all what they pass through life and all of that could account for 50% of their propensity to be happy in that relationship or in life.
Okay.
10% was attributed to life circumstances.
So that's your environment.
Your environment. Yeah. Things happen. You wake up today, your partner disappoints you, or you don't get this job, whatever. You have money today, you don't have tomorrow. All that is 10%.
Just 10%?
Yes.
All those things people are stressing about on social media is just 10%.
Life circumstances account for just 10% of happiness. Okay. Now, the sweet thing about the science is that we now have 40% left, right? If 50 is genetic set points, 10 is life circumstances, then you have 40% left. And the science says that this 40% are attributed to the intentional activities that an individual does. So if you can't control your genes, you can't control the things happening around you, then you can control what you choose to do.
Wow.
So that's the 40% that is your intentional activities. I guess that's where the architecture of intentional happiness comes from. Knowing that we can't control external circumstances, we can't control life, but hey, there's this 40% that we can choose how we think, how we feel, and the actions we take consistently. So in summary, the science would be that happiness is a choice and it depends on what you do consistently with your thoughts, with your feelings, and with your actions.
Honestly, everything you just said now has just blown my mind, like poof, 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 40%.
Yeah.
So my choices, right?
Your choices.
And decisions.
Yes.
But then what about the people I hang around? Is that also the people I move around with? Could that also fit into that 40?
Yeah, it fits. It fits. You know, a lot of studies. There's this ongoing Harvard study that's been ages. It's the longest study in history, studying people to see, okay, so in their circumstances and all of that. But the study goes on to show that the greatest contributor to a person's happiness and life satisfaction is having healthy relationships.
Okay.
So the people you hang out with, whether it's intimate relationship, whether it's your friends, whether it's your colleague and all of that, they contribute to your happiness. Again, there's this concept known as emotional contagion. So I'll just break it down. It means that emotions are contagious. So if I hang out with you repeatedly, I would become like you. Wow. I will begin to think like you. You know, the popular saying by Jim Rohn, that you become the average of the top 5 people you spend time with, also correlates to happiness. So if I'm always with you, Titi, and you are this, you exhibit pessimistic thinking style always, chances are like I would begin to think
like
that
a
way.
pessimist.
Yeah.
Okay, so now in relationships between a man and a woman, we're talking long-term, you know, courting and of course marriage.
Yeah.
So this 40%. That's a big percentage. So if, for instance, you have a partner who is toxic, there's a possibility you might become a toxic person.
Yes, there's a possibility you might become a toxic person, but if you understand the science that it's not what happens around you that becomes you, it is what you choose to do with it. You can have a toxic person but still not be toxic because you know how to reframe your thoughts, you know what to do to feel how you want to feel per time, and you know the actions that you would take to preserve your sanity and be happy in spite of what the other person is doing or not doing.
Okay, so there is this, you know, I'm on so many women's groups, and, you know, they complain, oh, the men are always cheating. It's that they cannot just keep it together, and they blame it a lot on the reason why they're not happy or fulfilled. So you're saying that even if he's cheating, even if he's, you know, doing some certain things, you still have a choice.
You still have a choice. You still have a choice.
Okay.
And it starts from what do you think about what the person is doing? So let me give you something. It might sound crazy to the average listener out there. So imagine your partner is cheating. First of all, you need to understand, if you are able to understand why he is cheating, that doesn't make cheating good. But then there's something we call the triangle of life, that our beliefs affect our behaviors, and the behaviors will ultimately lead to the outcomes that we have. So give, for example, this man is cheating. Probably what's his belief about who a man is? What's his belief about it? Does he believe that, oh, a man is polygamous and so he can do how he pleases? And then it starts from when the relationship started. What were you talking about? Some people spend so much time when they are courting, basically just maybe visiting the malls, going out and not talking deep stuff. Because one of the things you should want to know is to check your beliefs compatibility with your proposed partner. And if you see that you're not compatible in beliefs, hey, are you ready to walk that walk with this person that believes different things from you? But if you're now in that situation and the man is cheating, you need to first of all find yourself. Who are you in all of this? What do you want? Do you want to stay in the relationship? Yes. If that is what the person wants. If the person wants out, he can still want out. But if you want to stay, then you need to know what are the intentional activities I will do to preserve my happiness in spite of what he's doing. So you can still be happy even with a cheating spouse if you know how to process your thoughts, how to feel what you need to feel per time, and the things you need to do to stay happy.
Okay, so I'm going to go back to the fact that you said 10% is environmental circumstances. A lot of people seem to feel like, okay, so they're in a relationship, but the man doesn't have money or the woman doesn't have a particular educational background, and that's affecting their happiness. What would you say to that?
Okay, so let's talk about, you know, in the science of happiness, we talk about something known as the hedonic factor. So what it basically means is that all of those life circumstances, say for money, that we think makes for happiness, money can momentarily make you happy because it affords you the opportunity to buy the things you want to do, have the kind of lifestyle you want. But if you take it back to what Maslow's law of hierarchy says, there's a threshold. Once you get to that threshold, for example, if your relationship, the man has money and he makes a 10 million, your lifestyle will adjust to accommodate the 10 million. And you start wanting 100 million. So money can make you happy, but it can't sustain happiness.
Fantastic.
So that's it.
Fantastic. I think we've learned quite a lot today. I'm going to be, you know what, I'm going to be looking out for all your tweets and posts with our hashtag Wake Up Nigeria on TVC, the science of happiness. Thank you so much for coming to the studio once again. And we should talk more again. Please come back next week. Please, 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 please. We have a performer standing by. Her name is Okemute. And it's not new to the entertainment industry anymore. The pop culture music crooner has not only carved a niche for herself, but has also created her own brand in music and fashion. Take it away, Okemute.
Welcome back. Now you heard her earlier on, and the name Okemute is not new to the entertainment industry. Of course, the pop culture music crooner has not only carved a niche for herself, but has also created her own brand in music and in fashion. and modeling and so many other things that she does as well. And she's joining us on the show this morning. Good to have you join us again. Welcome back. It's been a few months, almost a year, that you came here last.
Yeah.
So tell us what you've been up to over the past 1 year. I know that you had a couple of, you did a lot of work in the studio, but you were also working on a number of other projects as well. So talk to us.
Oh, okay. Well, I just dropped an EP.
That's
right?
amazing.
Yeah, and
that's a lot of work that went into that.
Tell me about it. It took 8 months.
Wow.
Yeah, to get it all together. You know, the beginning of this year, I got signed to Flux Factory, owned by Gospel on the Beat.
But how's that? How's that been?
Amazing. Like, I didn't see it coming. Let me be very truthful. I didn't see it coming. I was just working and working. It's like, where am I going to go from here?
Yeah.
You know, that kind of feeling like, oh, where are you going to go from here? But then, all of a sudden, it just...
Yeah. So talk to us about it, because sometimes, you know, people are watching and they don't really know how being signed up, how much that is a big deal for artists, you know, because when you get signed up, a lot of burdens are taken off your shoulders. So talk to us about how it works, being signed up.
I was just about to use that word. A lot of burdens are taken off your shoulders. And talk about burdens of promoting the music, having a comfortable studio to work.
Wow.
You know, you don't have to start running from studio to studio. You don't, like, you just have a comfortable space.
So all the studio sessions and paying for engineers and things like that.
Everything is just okay. And also you get to, like, have people around you that believe so much in you.
Being signed up, of course, and then a few months later, EP is out. So tell us about the mindset. You know, sometimes when I know about artists and the fact that some of their EPs and the music that they put out, they have different moods. So tell us about the mood of this one, because I know that it's like a new season, a new phase in your life.
Yeah. Oh, this particular mood was I was in my zone. Let me use that word. I was in my zone. Like, I was basically enjoying myself. When you listen to the songs, you know that this person's having fun.
Yeah.
You know, I was really, really enjoying myself. But I got to a part of the year where I was recording, and I was recording a particular song, a particular track. That's the first track on the song, on the EP, which is Turn Up.
Turn Up, yeah.
And the day I was actually recording, and I got a call and I lost my mom.
Oh, wow.
You know, so I know people, when I say that, people will be expecting that the song was going to be a sad song or something. Yeah. But then I know my mom is someone that she's a happy person. She actually taught us when you're feeling down whatsoever, you know, the roof want to fall on your head, you just go in, take a warm bath. Take a warm bath, you know, and put on your red lipstick and face the world.
Wow.
You know, so...
That's the kind of person she was.
Yeah, that's the kind of person she was.
Was she sick?
And she wasn't sick. You know, I don't know. I think God just wanted her.
Yeah, so it was pretty sudden.
Yeah, it was pretty sudden. We didn't expect it, but then it was. Yeah, but the song. My mom is a happy person. She likes to have fun. Man, my mom would turn up and turn up. So I just had to do the song.
So you did the song, you finished it, and of course, so the EP is out now, and the song we just heard. Talk to us about that one. I mean, the trouble. I was like, okay, this girl is looking for trouble, right there.
Trouble. Okay, so Trouble was not initially supposed to be on the EP.
Yeah.
Right? I already did the songs, and Gospel on the Beat selected the songs that were supposed to be on the EP. He gave me some beats, and I was like, work on it. So I was working on it, and Trouble, I was in the studio. There were just my studio engineer, and he was like, oh, let's get the vibe. But I know, I want this song. I'm hearing something that would cause trouble. And it's like, I like that word, cause trouble.
Yeah.
I just had it and I brought it out. When I was done, Gospel made me go to Abuja to do my passport.
Yeah.
And I thought I was going to go off the hook.
Yeah.
And he called me and I was like, you have a studio session in Abuja. I'm like,
So he hooked you up again.
I'm telling you, in Abuja.
Wow.
I was like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
He had Today record label. They must make their money.
Yeah.
You know, so I go into the studio and I was working and I was like, boss, there's this song I did, do you want to hear it? And I was like, okay. Then I played it for him, I was listening to it. And this was his expression. I was like,
Yeah.
Naimna.
Naimna.
Naimna. Naimna. And
Yeah.
that's how Trouble just kicked one other song out of the EP.
Out of the EP.
And made it in the EP. And Gospel was like, we're going to shoot a video for this one.
Yeah, and that's a video we were watching right
Yes,
there.
yes, that's
Really
the
well
video.
shot. I love the colors.
Shot by boy director.
Okay, boy director. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, there it is, and that's it there with the dancing. I like the colors, the lighting, particularly really nice.
TJ More wanted to portray Lagos in a different light, especially because of the fact that I love fashion.
Yeah.
You know, I love wild fashion. You know, I know when I was leaving the house, some people were like, oh, why are you wearing a skirt? You know, this long skirt thing, everybody would look at it as one very churchy, but then I feel like it's a very edgy fashion. You know?
But churchy is good.
Yeah, and I don't know, but you know, some people will be like, you know, but me, I don't mind, you know. But for me, I feel like this long skirt is an edgy fashion, you know, with boots and, you know, you could wear leggings and all that. So he wanted to portray that part of me that shows the fashion area. And I was so happy because he is a fashionista also.
Yeah. I want to talk to. I wanted us to touch on that just a little bit before we round off. The fact that look, it's been a busy year for you musically, but you still do a number of other things. Have you had time to work on your other passions, or has it just been working on the EP and gospel being on your case 24 hours a day? So talk to us about your other passions.
Oh well, I've had a little time. Like I love to act. So I've been doing a little bit of skits on my Instagram. Yeah, I've been putting up skits. I have like some lovely friends that always come and really crack me up.
Yeah.
You know, so I've been having time to like show that part of me that wants to be funny, that part of me that wants to act. And yeah, then I also have time for my fashion also because I have my younger sister that is a fashion designer. So most of the time I have to tell her, okay, this is what I want. You cut it like this, cut it like this. And she is always there for me. So I think I've had time to still,
touch on,
you know, touch on
everything,
yeah,
at least. Anyway, so 2020 is around the corner in a few weeks. Okemite, you're already doing lots of things. You have some music out there. Your cousin Trouble all over the place. So what's going to be happening? Or what should we be looking out for you next year?
Before we go next year.
Okay, December.
Before we go next year, Alternate Sound Live is coming up in December 5th.
Okay, December 5th.
You know Alternate Sound Live?
Yeah.
Terracotta. So I'm going to be there performing the 4 tracks on my EP. We're going to be storming the yards. Like everyone, you guys should be there. If you want to see me, this is full blown.
Yeah.
Like we're going to be giving them full blown. Or rather, I'm going to be giving them full blown. Full blown me, no reservations. And then also, hopefully, I'm going to go on my East African tour.
Okay.
So it's like from one base to another.
So there's no stopping you. You just, entering 2020.
I'm actually on autopilot.
Wow, that's amazing.
By God's grace.
That's amazing. That's amazing. That's amazing. And hopefully, I mean, we're going to be seeing you on the show again pretty soon. And maybe in a different light. Maybe you do like a fashion showcase for us.
Yes.
Something like that. Bring a couple of models. Bring your sister along.
Music and fashion.
Oh, yeah, okay. A fusion of music and fashion.
Fusion of music and fashion.
Looking forward to that one.
Yeah.
Anyway, so while we're causing trouble over here on the couch, some guys over in the kitchen are, getting some things together for us.
Okay.
And hopefully you'll like what you see with Chef Ify and Titi.
I will definitely.
Are you ready?
Ready.
All right, let's go. Let's go.
That's that kind of question. I'm very ready.
You're used to this now. You're used to this.
We're
Please have a seat over here.
causing trouble in the kitchen.
I know, I can see that. Hi.
Love the skirt. Love it. Love it. Love it.
Thank you.
All right. So Chef Ify has been on fire. We are doing something different today.
Yeah.
Stuffed puff puff. So this is what's inside the pot. I hope we can get a shot of that. So the minced beef, sausage, and pepper stuffed puff puff. And right now, I have the privilege of tasting it first. But really, well done, Chef.
You've already taken a huge bite.
No, I have to show you what it looks like inside. That's why I beat it. That's the only reason.
This is the 7th one.
Really? 7?
No,
I don't want to believe that. I think
it was too hot for you too.
Honestly, it's been fun in the kitchen today. So just as quickly as possible, tell us what we did one more time.
Okay, stuff a minced meat sausage puff puff. Then garnish with cucumber and then stepping it down with Zobo.
Stepping it down.
Stepping it down.
Stepping it down.
This side we have peppered puff puff also. So just 3 minced puff puff that we have here today.
Okay.
There's pepper puff puff, there's sausage, there's minced meat, and then there's pepper sauce to go with it. Which one
is yes, minced? So the pepper sauce, I've not tasted.
So there are different toppings in each one.
Yes, yes. So go ahead. Okay.
This one looks like the pepper.
Yes.
One.
That's the pepper one. That's the sausage, I think.
Yeah. So just pick one. Taste one.
Which type of pepper?
Okay, so avoid.
Atarodo.
Atarodo.
Bonnet.
Yeah, Scott bonnet. The atarodo, the small one used to cook. You just chopped it.
Okay. That I used to. Well,
no, it's not pepper. You just spice it.
Okay, we can taste it.
Taste the sausage one.
Okay, let me taste this one then.
Okay, all right. So this is like a very touche-janded version of puff puff. But I find it very interesting.
Very interesting, huh?
Yeah. What do you think? I like. You like?
She likes it. Well done, chef.
So do I. And there's loads of puff puff to go around. I can see.
We're going to start rounding off the show now, though. Big thank you to our friends over at Homely NG for the kitchen access.
Yes, indeed. And thank you to all our guests for coming today. Today is Wednesday, right?
Yes.
Almost already halfway through the week.
Yes, indeed. Yes,
Tomorrow's show promises to be very artistic.
Oh, yeah.
Thursday's always like that.
Thursday. Don't forget, it's 6 a.m. And thank you so much, Akimoti, for joining us on the show today.
Thank you so much. And thank you for the puff
Chef
puff.
Ify.
It's really crunchy.
Amazing.
Very crunchy.
We're going to be back again tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen.
Have a
See
great
ya.
day. Bye.